Hello, my name is Marwa, and today I'm introducing you to a new segment that is a collaboration with Word magazine called, drumroll please, Razgi. I chose Razgi because it's my absolute favorite flower, and I had a lot of childhood memories with it since it grows in our backyard back home في القطيف, and I know it can be called other things throughout Saudi. So it's basically the Arabian jasmine flower, or وردة الفل, and it reminds me so much of my dad since every day when he comes back from work, he picks some of them up from the garden and puts them in a table right next to our front door. At times my sisters and I go to school with them, and in the bus we would smell them so much that they fall apart in our hands. It's just a symbol of home and family to me. Just in case you don't know what Word is an e-magazine and platform documenting talent and expression from all artists that are based in Saudi Arabia. So first, who am I and what do I do? To introduce myself, my name is Marwa Al-Qatari. I'm from Qatif in Saudi Arabia. And no, I'm not from Qatar for the last time. I'm 22 years old and I'll be 23 in December, so mark your calendars. I came to Charlotte, North Carolina in the US in 2016 to study engineering in the beginning, but I am now a computer science student and I'll be graduating in the fall semester, hopefully. I've always loved math and I'm so happy I found a field that I love using it in. I even wanted to be a math teacher in the beginning at some point. I'm a tutor in the computer science department, and I also just finished an internship, which was super interesting. I've had an interest in drawing and art in general in the very beginning, in like elementary school. I'm the youngest in the family and I have 4 siblings, and I've sort of been the only one who's not a realist in the family, and I've always saw art and expression as something I've always wanted to feel immersed in, and I was. I never looked at art as something necessarily only beautiful, but saw it as a place to visualize life experiences, feelings, and the complexity of human beings, basically. Like, life itself isn't necessarily pretty. And throughout elementary school, because my mom saw that I had an interest in drawings, she would sign me up to go to workshops in the summer. And that's how I basically learned how to paint. And it was mostly still life. So vases with flowers and houses and a tree. And it was really fun. In middle school, I started following a lot of art accounts that would teach you how to draw specifically face features. So I focused mostly on drawing faces, and I would have references to copy and get better at drawing. And at the end of middle school, I went to a summer school in Portland, Oregon, and I took an art class, and I also took a pottery class. So I made drawings and I made sculptures, and it was really fun. Now I still focus mostly on faces, and I've been loving learning how to draw bodies as well, and drawing different postures and angles. Although I still try to paint to challenge myself, I'm more comfortable with sketching. That's my outlet right now. There's something that made me stop painting and focus more on sketching, which is with everything, with books, writing poetry. I saw myself getting stuck and having unfinished work because I would jump from one work to another really quick. For instance, I would start a painting and then in the middle of it, I get inspired by something else and something else moves me. Or maybe I move on from that previous feeling and I go into another feeling. I saw that eventually with sketching, I have more control and I can finish something in like half an hour or less without me thinking so much about it being perfect. And eventually I made peace with the fact that a lot of the things that I do is unfinished. We are unfinished people. We consistently change and shift, and that's okay. I also love drawing people, all kinds of people. I just think humans are brilliantly sculpted, and there's a range of differences in how we were made. That it gives me an itch to learn about anatomy and learn how to draw every edge and angle. I also started writing in high school, specifically poetry, prose, or free verse, whatever you want to call it. And yes, I know there's a difference between these 3 terms, but I'll just say it's writing. I went through something in high school that made me want to try something else other than the natural mechanisms that I would go to. And I got inspired from a lot of people on social media to start writing poetry. So I started looking up poetry from Hello Poetry. I started collecting phrases and words that I love in my notes, and I tried to assemble them in a way that makes sense to how I'm feeling. And I saw that it helped tremendously. And so eventually I got into this poetry group where we would share stuff with each other and offer advice and listen and talk about our stories, and it was just a safe space where I continuously developed and grew in writing. Until today, I still keep up with the list of words and phrases to inspire me whenever I need to write. What made me even start the list is I saw my sister, to get better at English, she would keep lists and phrases of things she loves to use more. And so I just copied her, and it worked, and it's great, and I still do it. And writing has become the way I primarily vent, whether it's prose, journaling, or poetry. I saw that it's a way to self-reflect better and be my own therapist, sort of. I just loved this way of self-expression in art, to really play with words and make words and metaphors a way to visualize your experiences. In my very first semester in college, I had a writing class where the professor allowed us to write poetry and present our work in front of the class. And it was the very first time I delved into spoken word poetry. And even though that might not sound like totally different than writing poetry, it just made me see it as a totally new medium of venting, because I saw that I connected with people directly and I immediately saw their reactions for whatever I was saying. So then I continued to go to open mics and perform, and it was amazing. I even started YouTube in the first place to share my work and sort of perform in a way and start conversations. For the longest time, writing has felt like the only way for me to have a voice. Especially in the Arab world, poetry is so ingrained in our culture and denounced itself to be something limitless, even with all the cultural limits we grow up surrounded in. And now whenever I feel like I want to say something, I run to it to comfort me and make me feel welcome and heard. Not only that, but it gives me an opportunity to deconstruct myself and reassemble it back again, to just study the inner workings of my chaotic brain. So now that you know me and you know what I'm passionate about, what's coming for this segment? This segment will be devoted to self-expression and creation. I'll share some spoken word poetry videos, have sketchbook tours, show you the tools I use to draw, try different art mediums with you, and basically get out of my comfort zone. And sometimes it'll just be me ranting. And a lot more. So this segment will be covered in Word, which I will link in the description below, and of course it'll be in my YouTube channel. So for this, you'll see a video at the end of each month, so tune in. I'm so happy and excited to be collaborating with one of my favorite magazines of all time. I'm just honored. And I can't wait to introduce you to my world and for you to introduce your world to me. And I hope you share what you'd want to see more of in this segment and share your thoughts and ideas. Alright, so that's it for now. Thank you guys for watching. Like this video and comment what you'd like to see more of in this segment. And I'll see you next time. Bye, aliens. Look. Piero made an appearance. And share the video if you'd like. And Piero and I are seeing you next time. Hello, Piero.